Final thoughts. After reviewing everything, the strange absence of solid inscriptions directly connecting Pharaoh Khufu to the Great Pyramid, the astonishingly precise craftsmanship that feels far too advanced for primitive tools, the still sealed chambers awaiting discovery, and clues pointing toward a potentially far older origin, we're left doubting the official narrative we've always been taught. These remarkable findings imply that the pyramid builders may have possessed knowledge and skills far beyond what mainstream history currently acknowledges. While such an idea may sound unconventional at first, every new piece of evidence makes it increasingly convincing. Perhaps the ancient Egyptians had greater expertise than we give them credit for, and their methods were eventually lost to time. Or maybe the structures were originally created by an even earlier civilization, with their techniques later inherited or adapted by the Egyptians. But if these possibilities are so compelling, why does conventional archaeology avoid investigating them more deeply? One explanation is that recognizing an earlier, highly advanced civilization would force a massive revision of the history we accept today. Entire reputations of historians, archaeologists, and even nations have been built around the established timeline. Revising textbooks, altering museum exhibits, and challenging long-standing beliefs is no simple task. For Egypt in particular, the idea that its iconic pyramids might predate known Egyptian civilization or may not have been entirely their own creation touches sensitive questions of heritage and national pride. By resisting full investigation into hidden chambers, lost technologies, and alternative explanations, mainstream archaeology may, perhaps unintentionally, be concealing extraordinary truths beneath the sands of the desert. Imagine if undeniable proof were uncovered beneath Egypt's soil of a forgotten advanced civilization. Such a revelation would not only reshape our perception of Egypt, but also transform our entire understanding of humanity's past, overturning long-held assumptions about what our ancestors achieved. Now, standing at the edge of these deep mysteries, we must wonder, will archaeologists eventually open those sealed spaces and reveal what lies inside? Or will the secrets of the Great Pyramid remain locked away, waiting for a future generation bold enough to uncover the truth? For more fascinating ancient enigmas, don't forget to explore our other videos and subscribe to join us as we continue delving into the hidden stories history still holds. Thank you for watching, and as always, until we meet again, stay safe. The gatekeeper of Egypt's secrets. Very deep within the Great Pyramid, there is one figure who stands firmly between us and the long-awaited answers. That figure is Dr. Zahi Hawass, the man whose influence has shaped not only what the public learns about ancient Egypt, but perhaps even more importantly, what we don't. For many decades, Hawass has been the dominant force in Egyptian archaeology. Charismatic, outspoken, and fiercely protective of Egypt's heritage, he has held powerful posts such as Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities and later Minister of Antiquities. These positions granted him unmatched authority over who receives excavation permits, what studies can be carried out, and ultimately which discoveries are ever allowed to be revealed to the world. Yet, behind his tireless promotion of Egyptian culture lies a far more troubling reality: a rigid, tightly controlled system that has repeatedly blocked researchers who attempt to question or revise the accepted historical narrative. Defenders of Hawass might argue that he is simply protecting Egypt's priceless relics from reckless speculation and unfounded theories. But could there be another explanation? Something far more unsettling? Could his strict regulations be intentionally keeping certain truths hidden, safeguarding not only Egypt's reputation, but also the credibility of academics, institutions, and even nations that are tied to the established timeline? Let me know what you think in the comments once this video ends. Because by deciding exactly who may investigate and what information can be shared, Hawass has positioned himself as the ultimate gatekeeper of Egypt's history, potentially suppressing discoveries that could rewrite our entire understanding of the ancient world. Hawass's legacy is complex. On one hand, he has championed Egyptian culture, elevating its global prestige like never before. On the other, his restrictive policies may have, intentionally or not, prevented crucial investigations, leaving key truths about Egypt's past buried beneath the sands of the desert. This leaves us with a haunting question. Is Dr. Zahi Hawass truly guarding Egypt's heritage, or is he concealing secrets that could alter history forever? Until archaeology in Egypt embraces full transparency, we may never know what really hides behind those carefully guarded doors. With these doubts still lingering, let's now consider some alternative theories that mainstream archaeology seems unwilling to fully address. Independent researchers across the world have uncovered compelling evidence that directly challenges the official story we've always been told. Take, for example, Dr. Robert Schoch's groundbreaking studies of the Sphinx, which suggest that its origins may stretch back far earlier than conventional timelines allow, possibly connected to an older, forgotten civilization. Building upon this idea is Robert Bauval's striking Orion correlation theory. Bauval discovered that the three Great Pyramids at Giza align perfectly with the stars of Orion's belt, not as they appeared during Khufu's reign, but as the constellation stood around 10,500 BC, thousands of years before traditional history places their construction. Such a precise match is unlikely to be coincidence. Orion carried profound spiritual meaning for the Egyptians, symbolizing Osiris, the god of the afterlife, rebirth, and eternity. If Bauval's theory is correct, it suggests that the builders of these monuments had an advanced understanding of astronomy and deliberately encoded cosmic symbolism into their designs. Knowledge that mainstream historians insist the ancient Egyptians should not have possessed. Going further, some researchers argue that Egypt's monuments may not have been the work of early Egyptians alone, but rather remnants of a far older civilization with technological abilities that far surpassed anything history credits them with. Engineer Christopher Dunn studied the granite inside the Great Pyramid and found traces of advanced drilling and machining traces far too advanced for copper chisels. Granite is one of the hardest stones on Earth. Even with modern hand tools, the level of accuracy Dunn observed would be nearly impossible. So how could the Egyptians have achieved this with basic implements? Or were they using technology inherited from a forgotten people? Another mystery lies in how the Egyptians transported enormous granite blocks to the pyramids. Some weighed as much as 80 tons, quarried more than 500 miles away from Giza. Mainstream explanations fall short since the Egyptians had no wheels or advanced machinery at their disposal. Even with today's heavy-duty cranes, trucks, and planning, moving stones of such scale would be an immense challenge. So how then did ancient builders succeed? Author Graham Hancock takes this idea even further, suggesting that a once great global civilization, now lost to history, was destroyed in a catastrophic event or gradual decline. He points to ancient sites around the world, most notably Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, an extraordinary complex of temples dating back about 12,000 years, as proof that advanced knowledge existed long before Egypt rose to power. Hancock proposes that fragments of this knowledge survived and were eventually passed down, eventually influencing the Egyptians. Thinkers like John Anthony West and Dr. Robert Schoch echo this view, arguing that Egypt's sudden leap into complex architecture, astronomy, and mathematics was no accident. It was inherited. This explains why Egyptian civilization seemed to appear suddenly, fully developed, rather than gradually evolving over centuries. Although mainstream scholars often dismiss these theories as impossible, the growing body of evidence makes them increasingly hard to ignore. Consider the mysterious Osirian temple at Abydos, built with massive granite blocks showing precision equal to what we see inside the Great Pyramid, or the massive granite sarcophagus in the Serapeum of Saqqara, crafted with astonishing accuracy that would challenge even today's advanced machinery. How could Bronze Age builders have achieved such feats? These discoveries suggest that the official narrative of Egypt's past may be missing vital chapters. Could mainstream archaeology have overlooked or deliberately ignored evidence of a far older, highly advanced culture behind Egypt's greatest monuments? If so, who were these mysterious builders, and how did they acquire knowledge that seemed far ahead of its time? Buried mysteries. The puzzle of who actually constructed the Great Pyramid grows even more fascinating once we step inside. What lies hidden beneath the surface is far more stranger than most people imagine. Typically, the public only hears about a handful of interior spaces: the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and a few passageways connecting them. But more recent investigations have uncovered something